Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raid. Small bit of news, which is a summoning event happening during CvC tomorrow. So let's break it down, talk about who to pull for. Is it even worth going for at all? Of course, bear in mind, guys, I will be doing my CvC stream, and it is a personal reward CvC. That CvC stream will be probably when the tournament goes live. I might be a little bit late if I don't wake up on time, which is sometimes happens. It does sometimes happen, but hey, there we go. And something to bear in mind, of course, is this summon event during CvC is obviously directly at the start of this new fusion for Esme the Dancer. If you're going for the fusion, we've got a Hero's Path, which is probably going to be a big summoning event happening at the weekend. So yeah, be aware of that. They definitely, I think, made this pretty tempting to sucker you in, I suppose. Now, if you're not going for the fusion, I've put up a poll, by the way. We have over 1,000 votes so far, and 55% of people are saying, hell no, I'm not going for the fusion. Only 18% have actually committed to definitely doing the fusion. This is one of the most unpopular ones. I think I forgot to do one for the Mad Hatter, but I did one for Lady Noelle. And Lady Noelle, if we add in skipping her and Sir Nicholas and skipping her but going for Sir Nicholas, 37% of people were skipping. And she's a good fusion. 37% skipped. We're already up to 55% skipped. And it could easily go higher. So, yeah. Needless to say, this fusion's pretty unpopular, it seems. I think she's decent. I don't foresee her being particularly useful for my main. On my free-to-play, because it's a 3-month challenge account, I'm not going for it. Because she won't be useful within that 3 months. We only need one Hydra team. We only get points for our best score, and I've got Ugo built already. If I was playing my free-to-play, like if I was on my free-to-play, and it was like legit my new main account and would be forever, I would go for her. So it sort of depends where you're at. Obviously, most of you are not. You know your accounts, so there you go. Let's dive in. So Tuesday, the 11th of February, we've got progressive chance events. No epics in here, but lots of legendaries from Voids and all the other shard types. And then on Wednesday, the 12th, again, all the shard types involved. I would say the Void shards will be probably pretty good for the Summon Rush, or sorry, the Hero's Path, which is replacing the Summon Rush. Voids might be nice for points there, but we just had 2x Voids, so they're probably the least important shard right now, though they may also be the shard that you are lowest on because, I mean, it was the 2x Voids with 10x Queen of Hearts. The other shard types, yeah, might be coming into the fusion again for people going for it. On Tuesday, Arashi the Riptide, he is brand new. Duchess Lilitu, Highkeeper Prisma, Glaikid of the Meltwater, Tatura Rhymehide, and then Yumiko, Lil Miss Annie, and Vlad the Nightborn. I think Yumiko is the clear and obvious winner here. She gives you a reset champion. She's very, very good. Resetting and locking out, fantastic. You can do some fun, cheesy stuff with her, as well with reflecting debuffs with her Hex. Like you can reflect polymorphs from your team. You can reflect bombs onto Bommel. Fun stuff like that. She is a great champion. She would be, I think, definitely the one to go for. Little Miss Annie has perhaps some niche use for Chimera, I do think. You know, she got buffed and she's okay. She could definitely do some stuff. Heal reduction and decreased defense triple hitter. Stealth buffs increase attack and perfect veil. This one hits really hard. She gets a really big shield when she's revived, which is nice. So yeah, she heals when she does damage to enemies under heal reduction or decreased defense. I think she's got some potential for Chimera, for sure. She's okay, but I think I wouldn't be going out of my way to pull her, I don't think. Vlad, obviously, Constantine just got buffed. Vlad is a good carry, because he does come in with AoE block active skills and decreased defense. It's really good on a 3-turn. Great move for any wave-based content or earlier game arena where people don't have Stone Skin. And then he has the AoE leech with turn meter, steal, or decrease against other targets. His A1 destroys some HP. He's a solid Void legendary, but again, probably not one to chase. Not useless, but not one to chase. Yumiko clearly is. Let's actually jump to the Wednesday Voids. Let's do all the Voids first. Chalco, Shuzen, and Krisk. And these are super high value as well. Shuzen, probably not quite. This depends. Shuzen versus Yumiko. Shuzen is also absolutely bonkers in Arena. 110 base speed, 30% aura, and she can give someone an instant turn. It's nuts. Then she's got the speed manipulation as well. Block active skills A1. She gains a ton of accuracy equal to speed. Shuzen is absolutely nuts, right? I would say Yumiko is more generally useful, but if you've got other reset champions, perhaps Shuzen comes up, or if you got other lockout. I do think probably, even though Shuzen is crazy, I probably would go for if I didn't have a good lockout or a good reset champ, so i.e. a legendary or better version. Um, I'd probably go for Yumiko over Shuzen, but Shuzen is really, really good. Krisk is also really good. I think he's not as good as the other two, but he's obviously absolutely great. He's a great Void Legendary. Really good for Hydra. He's decent for Chimera. Good for wave content as well. AoE provoke with increased speed on everyone except him. He's got ally protection on everyone except him. Lots of healing on himself and buff extension. AoE decreased speed. And then he's putting out decreased defense, decreased attack with a passive and a big shield. Krisk is great. He's just a great carry for any sort of boss type content. He's very, very good. So Krisk is good, but I do think Shuzen is better, probably because she's just so strong in Arena. And Arena is the hardest mode and only becoming more important with Live Arena and Siege, etc. Yumiko, I think, is probably the most generally useful of all of them. Now, Chalco is a question mark, and I tell you guys what I will do. I think what I will do, I'll try to do a Chalco showcase on Wednesday, and I'll try to do an Arashi showcase tomorrow on Tuesday, so you guys can see them and decide if you're going for them. Chalco, I think he's beautiful. He's got a lot of potential. He's kind of a monster. AoE, stealth buffs increase accuracy, decrease enemy buffs by 2 turns, and puts decreased speed. So he can, like, remove Stone Skin, which is nice. Though he won't, I believe, do any damage. Well, I don't know. Let's test it out. Maybe he will. His A2 is super cool. Block passive skills decrease defense on the first hit, and then debuff spread on the second. And it works even if he kills them, which is really nice. Extra turn if he does kill someone. And with his passive, immune to most hard crowd control. And whenever an enemy attempts to put hard crowd control on him, he gets to do his A2 for free. And he's getting 5% more damage for every debuff placed by him or an ally. It resets every time. But I mean, like, you come in, if he does decrease defense and block passives, and that spreads to like 4 enemies, that's 8 debuffs. That's a 40% damage boost for his next skill. It's crazy, right? Absolutely. His A1 is very strong as well. So I think this champ has a lot of potential. I got to test him out and see. The thing that makes him a very much a question mark for me, I can do a showcase and that's useful and everything. But at the same time, having champions around for a while where you get past that sort of honeymoon period of thinking they're super good, or you get past that, I don't know, what's the opposite of a honeymoon? I don't know. That period where you think, oh, this champion's absolutely terrible. And then you go, oh, actually, they're not as bad as I thought. It's hard to judge a champion for sure at the start. And I mean, I think Chalco, he's up against Yumiko and Shuzen in particular, and Krisk, 3 champions that have proven themselves to be S-tier Void Legendaries time and time again. So I think he's a difficult one to recommend because of that. Like, you're not going to regret having a Shuzen or a Yumiko. Let's be real. Now, for the others, Arashi, Duchess, Highkeeper Prisma, Glakid, Tatura, and then Necmo, Staltus, Aestrid, Gwendolyn, and Maragain. Very spicy. So day 1 is more perfect fail stuff. Arashi, again, he is brand new. I'll do a showcase on him tomorrow. I think he looks, sorry, wrong faction. I think he's got some potential. I think he's up, he's a HP damage dealer who can ignore Stone Skin, which is cool. He self-buffs Perfect Veil, which is cool. And he's probably pretty good for Hydra. I think he's a big thing about him as well, the 28% speed in arena battles. I feel like this is a great champion to pull. But I don't know if I would be chasing him in this event. I think other options are better. I think he's likely to be a good combo champ with Mikage, or, you know, Chimera, probably decent, Hydra, but he's going up against Harima, Ninja, and Toshiro. I don't think there's any way he's better than those at all with Mikage, but he'd be pretty good. I think he's going to be pretty good in Arena. He's got a speed lead. He can ignore Stone Skin. It's pretty solid. He's a HP nuker, so he's going to be tanky. He self-busts Perfect Veil. He's going to be tanky. He can reflect damage back. This is really cool. 20% chance to reflect damage and debuffs back. So he's a great one. Is he as good as a Taris? Is he as good as the other top HP nukers? You got a Taris in there. You've got obviously Gizmak, stuff like that. Is he on that level? I don't know. So I feel like this guy is like a step below, probably. We'll see. We'll test him out. I feel like he's probably a step below the top tier in any given content, but he seems like just really solid and good. So I'm like, he's not as good as a Toshiro. He's not as good as a Gizmak. And again, I feel like as a new champion, It's difficult when he's going up against champions with proven pedigrees, like Duchess is great. Glaikid, I think, is even better. Tutor, I think, is bad. Prisma is also a question mark for me, is new. It's difficult to recommend them when you've got champions with proven value over here. So I think Duchess is great. I think Glaikid is better overall than her. Glaikid doesn't bring as much survivability, but he brings the same aura. He brings increased accuracy, increased defense with an AoE revive. He brings increased attack Perfect Veil with a turn meter boost, and he's giving you 10% more damage with Perfect Veil on. It's extremely strong. He's got great base stats as well. I think he is better than Duchess in most content. One exception, I think the big exception, I think Duchess would probably be a bit better for Arena, and you build her as a specialist for that. And Duchess in particular can combo with Volcanos, who's absolutely OP. So I think Duchess is better in Arena. I think Glaikid is more useful basically everywhere else. Honestly, I think he did Power Creeper in other areas. That's my hot take, perhaps. Like I said, Prisma, I'm not sure. Tutora, not as good as the others. I wouldn't recommend it. Necmo is a fantastic choice. I'm going to say equal probably probably equal to Glaikid, actually. Necmo has sort of had, I feel like he's been power crept a bit in Hydra. Actually, specifically, I think he's been power crept by Aestra Dreamsong. In Hydra. I think she's generally better, but he's really nice for Chimera. The Leech, the decreased speed, the decreased attack, increased speed turn meter boosting, speed aura. He's been fantastic in Chimera for doing trials and whatnot, so he's sort of seen a second lease of life. I would say Aestrid is better than him generally just generally, actually. I think Aestrid is a better version of increased speed, decreased speed, but she's also bringing AoE weaken, which is fantastic. Increase turn meter here is not as good as Necmo's, but still pretty good. But she has amazing base speed. She's got a great arena aura, same as Arashi. So she sort of is a pseudo arbiter in arena. She's a brilliant choice to be a super fast champion and do basically what Arbiter does. Yeah, I think she's better because of the weaken in Hydra for most people. Gwendolyn is also similar. I think I used Gwendolyn in Chimera as well. She's great for some of the rotations, so she's decent too, and she's good against Fire Knight triple hit A1. Extending debuffs is cool. Decreased speed and leech. She's got increased accuracy for the team. You don't have the increased speed, but if you're running something like Lydia, she's really good as an alternative to Necmo for some rotations. As your decreased speed leech champ, she doesn't bring decreased attack, but she does extend debuffs, so she's good. Can be tricky to use if you don't have decreased attack, mind you. And yeah, Staltus, he's a fine damage dealer. I think Margain is relatively weaker compared to the other two. Again, increased speed champ. Her main use, honestly, is this passive for the heal reduction for Amius. She's very good for that. Really good for Amius. Not as good as the other ones elsewhere, though. She's similar, but not as good as Aestrid for Arena, is sort of my vibes. And Staltus is decent. He's a decent Arena damage dealer. Very decent, very respectable. Self buffs, AoE double hitter with stuns. Force affinity is kind of useful too. And he's very good with his passive for hard mode dragon. That's not particularly important, to be completely honest. So yeah, I'd actually say Margain is probably about as useful as Staltus, just purely for the Amius thing. So there you go. I would probably recommend Glaikid is great. Duchess is very reasonable. And then Necmo or Aestrid, probably both very good, depending on what you prioritize. And yeah, I will come back with showcases of Arashi and Chalco, though I probably, again, wouldn't recommend pulling something that's so new, unless you're a big whale and you don't care. You got infinite money, and you're like, ooh, new champions, great way to get them. Hey, and just be aware that this is preceding the fusion. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.